Alright, it's 1:02 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. Does the board have anything to add to the agenda?
I do need to make a motion to amend the agenda into the new business area. If we can move all of this between 2 and 3, that may give Joel time to get here.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to put revved up into the agenda. And then next, I would like to put Connie Adams and Christina into the agenda. And then next, the documentary video that we, and then those 3 things in between 2 and 3. Yeah. Is that something that it's enclosed?
Yeah, that's what I was. But I like to add for the yearly donation to the Shriners for $1,000.
So we just put that in there with all them in between?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I added as 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7 is Joel and 8 would be closed session.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
We need to add an adoption of this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
what is
that's
that?
closed, isn't it?
But, I don't think so.
No, that's,
Gina wanted us to add adoption of this ARPA funding.
All the paperwork you just got.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've
Can
not
we
looked
kinda
at any
look
of
at
that.
first
Yeah.
and then?
I can't provide any, well, I'd suggest closed.
Okay.
what do you want to discuss, John?
Am I up now?
No, I was just saying. if we
No, I
could-
added revved
He's
up.
wrapped up.
We're gonna be talking about the activities that we've got coming up.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve as,
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, do we have any minutes to approve? Okay. And this time I'll open up the floor to public comment. Becky, would you? Go ahead. You've got the floor, Ms. Garland.
Okay, I just wanted to, kind of give an update. It's been a year, since the coach team with the local government commission started working with the town, and just wanted to kind of give you an update on, kind of some successes and then some ongoing, work that we're gonna be doing. The first success is that the town was able to finalize the fiscal 22-year audit. I think it was submitted maybe February or March. It was approved in March by the LGC, or it was reviewed. And so I take that as a major win, considering that you didn't have, a full-time finance officer for quite some time during that audit period. The other win that I would look at is the work that the League of Municipalities has begun doing, working with the finance office on catching up the books. I believe y'all engaged with the League, and they engaged with a CPA firm to help with that endeavor. And I know they've just begun that work, but you've got somebody on board that's highly skilled and qualified to come in and update your posting of your books and records, and then get it audit ready. So, I'm excited about that. Plus, in the meantime, they're working with the town on getting, starting the conversion process. Once all of that's posted up, then they'll begin the conversion process into your new software. And, you're gonna get a tremendous, a good software, really good software package that I think is gonna, handle all of the financial needs for the town with plenty of training and on-site support. And at least for the first 3 years, I think, American Rescue Plan Funds is gonna be paying for your annual support there. So that's another major win, and I'm really glad and pleased that the board has made these real positive moves, and providing the support that the finance officer needs, in her training and her learning. She and your clerk, and then Alderman Beasley attended a training at the end of March that was kind of a joint effort between my office and SIRCAP to kind of do some broad training on fiscal policy and financial oversight, especially in the water and sewer realm. So, that's a big step forward. In addition, I'm working with your finance officer and your clerk. We've scheduled to basically come together once a month for me to do some one-on-one type training on fiscal policy, on compliance with GS 159, which is so very important, and just to do some overarching training on, what it entails, budgeting, anything that's financially, or with some clerk training as well, for just so that they can broaden their scope. It's very difficult. The ideal would be that they could go to Durham to the School of Government and spend several days. But it's very difficult when they're trying to learn their job and deal with the day-to-day, and with your resources being limited here. So I'm trying to bring the trainer to the town. Having the league involved has opened that opportunity for us to do, for me to kind of deal with the big rocks while the league is handling the minutia of doing all the posting up to date. So that I'm excited for the town in that regard. There are some things that I feel like that we need to address, and I would like to work with the board on this. And part of that big rock strategy is looking at your fiscal policies, see where we are with them, such as procurement, conflict of interest, grant and capital project management. How do we deal with use of town assets? How do we deal with travel and so forth? And those policies, a lot of those were placed in place way before this board was put and seated. So it's a good time to review them and look at it against best practices. So I want this will entail, working with your attorney so that he can review the policies to make sure they're, legally accurate, as well as working with the board so that the board can know what framework of internal controls that you as a board want to put in place so that you can stay physically sound, both from an internal control perspective as well as just the financials, every month. I want to get your finance officer to the point where every month you're getting a full finance report with a budget to actual so that you know exactly where you are each month when you walk out of the board meetings. That'll inform your decisions if somebody comes and says, I want $1,000, do we have $1,000, is it budgeted and so forth? So you'll have all the information that you need to make good and effective decisions. Another issue that, or three more issues, and then I'll be quiet. Part of my role is to, look at some of the findings that have occurred in your regular audit reports and help with the board and the finance officer to be able to remediate those issues, as well as y'all had your state auditor report to come out dealing with their recommendations that they've made and how do we navigate that. And I think there's a couple of those things on your agenda that will be addressed a little bit later. And part of what my concerns are at this moment for the town are, number one, your budget, because you're in budget season again. You're gonna have a budget by June 30. I know I spoke with your finance officer, and I think some personnel from the League of Municipalities is gonna interface with her to help get that ball rolling. But we are at May 1, so we've got 2 months to have a budget in place. That's gonna be difficult, given that you are still there, we're still trying to catch up 23. So you're not gonna really know where you are in fund balance. And just as we discussed last year. So, I would recommend and encourage the board to try to be as conservative as you can be in your budgeting. Once you know where your fund balance is, if there's things that were kind of the gravy, for lack of a better term, then you can look at your fund balance and know that you can add to your budget or amend your budget as needed. Also, because your audit is still, for 23 is not completed, you should have received an email and a letter regarding the Senate Bill 299, where the General Assembly has put in place the ability for the State Treasurer's Office, along with the Department of Revenue, to withhold up to 150% of your contracted audit fee. There is an appeal process that can occur, and I've discussed that in just broad strokes with the finance officer. So I can be available to kind of assist her in framing your appeal for this first year. So, that's kind of looming on the horizon, and we know, because we're still trying to post up the 23 year, that probably July 1 is going to come and the audit will probably not be done unless there's some, major breakthrough in the posting and the engaged CPA firm can handle that. So my recommendation would be that the board would be proactive with your finance officer in filing an appeal and doing what needs to be done, and then let the State Treasurer's Office review it and then make a determination from that point. So basically, that's in a long-winded nutshell kind of where we are with your finance officer and finance office. But this time last year, I'm going to just put it kind of my terminology. This time last year, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, but it was a freight train. This time this year, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's called the League of Municipalities and the work, and you've got a finance officer on board that's working hard and is committed. You've got a clerk that's just as committed as the finance officer, and there's your light. And it's going to be a long process, but I think at the end of the day, with all of us working together, with the coach team, with the State Treasurer's Office working alongside with the League, alongside with these two ladies, hopefully this coming year, we're going to say, okay, we're caught up on audits and we're caught up on the books, and we've got a conversion that's well on its way into a really good solid software package that they're going to understand and be trained up for. So I'm proud of the work that the town's done to this point, and I appreciate the support that all of this team has put forth to get this town back on track. And it's going to be a hard pull, it's a long pull, but it's at least we have a plan, and that's what's important. So.
Well, thank you, Becky. And going on to, do we have anybody else for public comment? If not, do we have a motion to close public comment?
I'm gonna make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to old business. Ms. Garland would like to address us on the code of ethics.
So part of the recommendations of the state auditor's office was that the board adopt a code of ethics. And I know that's one of those big hard pull type things that needs to be done. And so what I did is I went out on our website, and the local government commission does have a couple of model policies that that the board can work off of. And I would encourage you though to have your attorney look over those model policies, and then you may want to have a work session. Maybe, you know, if you're going to be having some budget workshops, you may want to have a work session where you go through that policy based on his recommendations. And then at some point in the very near future, not only to just comply with the recommendations, but it's just good solid practice and best practice for every board in the state of North Carolina to have its code of ethics and to follow it. That sets your tone at the top. If your employees and your organization can see that the board is very serious about handling business in an ethical, transparent way, then that trickles down through your organization. So I just wanted to bring that resource to you. I also included, as I said, a conflict of interest policy. You may want to review it against what you have in place. That's kind of in addition to, it wasn't required as a recommendation, but every board, especially if you're going to be receiving federal and state shared funding, needs to have a good solid conflict of interest policy in place as well.
Yeah.
And it's also part of that tone at the top. Okay.
I put together a code of ethics, but worked several hours on.
Is there 2 documents or one?
It should be
Code of
the,
ethics and,
yeah, there was a conflict of interest.
Oh, I didn't pass the code of
Conflict.
conflict of interest thing.
And once again, these are just recommendations. Your attorney is very well versed in local government, and I'm sure he's gonna make several recommendations off of this.
I think the work session's a great idea.
All right. Anything further on the code of ethics?
That's all I've got.
All right. And next, Ms. Garland would like to address us on amended W-2s.
Okay, another recommendation and finding was the issue that was a carryover issue with a previous audit in reference to some fringe benefits that were provided to previous board members, not these board members, previous board members, where the state auditor's office said that those fringe benefits they found had not been taxed. And under the Internal Revenue Code, those are supposed to be taxed. So, I believe your mayor has spent quite a bit of time doing some research. I did some additional research with him on use of town vehicles that have to be dealt with on the W-2 as well, based on internal revenue codes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, basically got all of that information gathered. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah, I put on a spreadsheet what information I got.
Okay, and so my recommendation, is that the board seek out, either a very well-versed bookkeeper who has a lot of payroll experience, or a CPA firm who does a lot of payroll, type related work to, work on amending W-2s for those, previous staff of the town. And I do want to reiterate, it's not this board, it's previous boards. It's not this staff, it's previous staff, where the issues occurred several years ago.
Yeah.
And it's not the previous finance officer that, was before, Ms. Parton, it was previous administrations. The issue is going to be locating the old W-2s and locating the payroll tax returns that went along and reconciled to those W-2 forms. Once those items are located, then that outside bookkeeper or CPA firm can do the work to do the amendments, and the town will have to pay some payroll taxes. And on that, there'll be some penalties and interest. So that'll have to be addressed for the budget amendment, Ms. Parton, once we get quantify that information. I do know that the state auditors also referred that matter over to local government retirement system, because they reached out to Ms. Parton probably about a month ago, wanting an update, because there may be some retirement that needs to be paid in. That research will have to come alongside the finding the old records, finding those old retirement reports, and then determining whether that was subject to retirement or not, because there are specific rules on specific types of pay that are not subject to retirement, okay? And so that research will have to come a little bit later. But Ms. Parton did respond back to the local government retirement system to let them know that the town was in the process of gathering the information, and that she would be in touch as soon as that information is complete. So there's movement on that. It's just gonna be one of those time-consuming situations that have to be dealt with.
Does the board agree for me to find a CPA to submit this to?
Yeah, remember what I said.
Okay, you just wanna vote on it?
Make a motion, we find a CPA to work on the amended W-2s.
I second that.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right. All right, moving on to the new business. As Becky had mentioned, we've been working with the League of Municipalities to get us caught up on our catch-up work. And we've signed the letter to get that moving forward. Linda could probably elaborate more on it in her finance officer update.
Yeah, Becky covered a lot of my
Yeah.
questions.
I'm sorry, it's okay. You can tell the inside story.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Other than the things that Becky told you about, I've just been doing all that, dealing with getting the 941s and all that paid. I did, me and Sean signed papers today for the league to be coming in after the catch up. They sent emails today, and we both had signed it. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, this will save a lot of money. I reached out to the league a while back to see if they would help us on this.
And all of this with the league is free of charge, just
Yeah.
as the coach team's work from the state treasurer's office is free of charge. And so
Yeah.
that's a tremendous blessing for our local governments to have
absolutely.
these resources.
Absolutely.
I mean, me and Amanda have been super, super busy, and we worked over a lot of the evening. I don't know, well, you've probably seen us, Kenneth has, trying to get things caught up. We're trying.
I reached out to the league just in time. They had one more slot
Yes.
open when we got in,
Yes.
so it's worked out good. All right. You have anything else to update on it?
Becky covered everything.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, it's good.
All right, John, what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've got three items. The first thing is this poker run that we hope to have on the square on May 18th. We've been working with RTA to put this together, and we anticipate bringing probably somewhere between, well, we're hoping 75 to 100 people together. We're hoping that it's open to cars and motorcycles. So we're hoping to bring more tourism to the town. It'll be a day-long thing, and we want to, we did this once before COVID hit. We had our first poker run here. And we set up a registration here next to, behind the courthouse. And then we had our concert out on the square, just like the Friday night music, and from 6 to 8. And we've got Freeman Gas coming to cook hot dogs for everybody. We've got 200 hot dogs and the wiener roast with chips and drinks and hot dogs and chili and stuff for the dinner. We're hoping to have South 129. I've always spoken to Jason, but he's out on maneuvers now, and so we haven't locked him down yet, but he was amenable to have his band play out there. And we would have the band playing from 6 to 8. We've got a master's ceremonies out there. We'll have the judging and give out the prizes. We're hoping to have somewhere between 3 dozen and 50 door prizes. We're hoping to have 50 door prizes to give away. The first one that we did, we had 31 riders, and we had 131 people on the square for the wiener roast, and we were able to raise $2,500 for ES. This year, the proceeds are going to go revved up because we've got some big expenses, and we don't get a whole lot of donations to help us. So, and I'll tell you about some of that stuff coming up. So anyway, we just want to make sure that the town's on board with us doing this feature. We're hoping that it'll help the tourism and whatnot, and improve the flow in the town. So we want to get the town's approval to hold this event. Then we've got two other things. We've got an initiative to save the hut up here at the Baptist Church, the 88-year-old log cabin that was built by CCC and WPA. And we just met, our board of directors just met, and we've decided that we've back and forth between two sites. We're hoping for either the bypass, or now the county has said that it's possibly available to put it in the Memorial Park between the urgent care parking lot and the agricultural extension parking lot. And so our board has adopted to put it there. There's pluses and minuses to both sites. So we're hoping to have that happen. And as far as the building goes, we have already gutted the whole inside of the building. We have framing set up to brace it when it's moved. But we could possibly be moving the building within the next 4 weeks. So.
Got a question on the poker run.
Sure.
You said you're gonna set up out here, have a band where, just like Friday nights, or are you gonna require us to shut that section of the road?
Yeah, we wanted to shut it down just like the Friday night music, but our thought was.
I think that as long as we're okay with it, I think it's okay for them to do it, as long as they're, there with people to keep it.
And our thought was that if you have the trailer and the bandstand set up, that they could be pulled off and just left there overnight, so it doesn't have to be set up and taken down and put back up and like that.
I don't want Friday night to park the trailer on the sidewalk there,
Yeah.
and everybody dances in the road. So.
Right. And so our first card stop is gonna be at Kin Cafe. So we're gonna just have people, hey, go over and get a coffee and then start the route. And so we've got a really great route, first stop, or second stop is gonna be at Maple Springs Overlook, and we think that if we get new people to go out there, that they're gonna come back here, because it's so pretty out there. And then we're gonna go all around the county. We're gonna go out through Nantahala Gorge instead of bringing traffic up over Stokoe Gap because of the construction. So, so we got that. That's what we're doing with that. We just want to make sure that the town is on board with that. The Save the Hut initiative, we're ready to proceed with that. We could be moving the building within 4 weeks, I think. The inside, if anybody ever wants to go up there and take a look at all the work that we've done, because we stripped out the whole center of the cabin, we've hauled away 2 or 3 dumpster loads of stuff out of the hut, and it's basically, it just needs to be shored up, and then we need to get the trailer under it, and we've already got people working on the beams and cribbing that it takes to jack it up and put it on a low boy. And I think moving it just that little distance is gonna be a big plus rather than moving it down to Main Street. And our hope is that we're gonna put crafters and artists in that building so that they can sell their wares and goods, and it'll improve the economy a little bit. The proceeds from sales, a portion of it could go towards the maintenance of the building to keep it maintained from now on and in use. And the one other thing, and of course, like I said, we're hoping to get some revenue from the poker run. Your budget year is coming up, and the only funding that we ever get for Revved Up has come from the town. The town and RTA has supported us with prize monies and stuff like that. Both of you are members of the Aruba organization, which I think the fee is like $250, and we get to put 60 of that towards our operating expense. But we get $2,500 a year. We had a part-time executive director this year, and we've spent $5,000 in the first 6 months to keep her. So it's just important that if you would approve that $2,500 donation for our operating expenses in your new budget, we would really appreciate that. And that's basically it. Those 3. Oh, we want to do another poker run in the fall, and we want to do a Halloween Saturday pre-Halloween event, and then our Christmas decorating contest that we do every year. So that's our kind of 4 projects for the year.
All right. Thank you, John.
You bet. Thank you.
Connie, you're up next.
Before Connie gets started, and while she's passing this out, they kind of approached me to talk about the Christmas lights and all that from last year, and got to digging into our financial report. We have in our budget for this year, which ends in June, $6,000 for our Christmas lights. Now, we've not used that money yet. So, they were talking to me about trying to get our town decorated for Christmas again. And I like the idea of it. They're volunteering their time, and it goes along with Revved Up, working with the businesses and the individuals decorating their houses or their businesses up. But Christina and Connie want to kind of address the board for our next fiscal year's budget.
And what, we've looked around the town, how sad downtown is at Christmas. And so what our idea was to maybe join uptown and downtown as one continual decorating idea. And we looked into snowflakes because we have 30 that are already workable, and well, part of them are, and we're willing to rewire and relight the ones that need to be fixed. And Christina has looked into prices of ordering the lights that are ready to put on there with the cords already on. So what we'd like to do is every pole that has power, put a snowflake on it all around town, all downtown, come back up and connect so that downtown and uptown is a thing, one thing. And then we talked about having a meeting and inviting businesses to come in and having a meeting and say, let's light up the town and let them decorate their businesses any way they want to. But let's go from being bleak and gloomy downtown to our things kind of like light up the town. And my main thing is for the children of Brown County. Because last year they said, like, where is our decorations? Where's our lights? And so to me, it's very important for the children of Robbinsville, for our people that live in Robbinsville, and also people passing through. They come through and we're decorated for Christmas and we look good, they might want to come back again. So in the middle of all this, it might enhance our tourism, plus enhance our local people. It'd be nice if the kids said, Mom, let's go to town and see what lights they put up. What's new tonight? So that's my thinking, and we're looking, I know the budget for was 6,000, we're asking for 10, and we're very thrifty because we're gonna restring a lot of these lights, and we've talked with the maintenance, and Chad is very good to show us what's there and what needs to be done, and even plug them up so we can see how many lights we need and what we need to order. So we're willing to volunteer our time, plus some other people that we've got gonna help us to help better Robbinsville with whatever monies you are willing to give us. So that's my presentation. Thank you. If you have any questions?
Yeah, the 10,000, is that just from the town, or is that collectively 10,000?
That's for our budget
Yeah.
for this coming up year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's currently 6, and we're asking to increase to 10 on a yearly basis.
Yeah, we've got that at the very bottom.
Yeah. For maintenance and purchase of new things as we need to.
Kenneth, they're wanting to take the 6,000 that we've got in our budget for this one, and what are we needing to do? I mean, we need to take that $6,000 that we have now and do what? What do you guys need us to?
That will buy 15 snowflakes. The
I
Christiana
think
knows more.
The 6,000 should buy between 10 and 13 more snowflakes. And then if we increase the new budget line item to 10,000 on a yearly basis, we can buy 16 more. And then, use it to maintain the snowflakes that we have. I think we counted 50, but you know, the circle from Rodney Bypass and then, the Main Street circle, there's approximately around 50 poles. So we can increase that and have a snowflake on every pole.
I'm all for it, but I do think we need to stop, maybe take a look at our budget and what we've got to work with.
We understand that. We're just asking if you've got some extra, can we have some of it?
For sure.
We'll take what you give us.
We are going to be setting up a budget meeting, so this will be put into it, and we will look into it and see if we can add it to that.
But I'm more than willing to commit the 6 that we've already
Yeah.
budgeted out, so.
So we can go ahead and take that 6,000 and get it, to get these lights ordered.
And the sooner we order them, the cheaper it is. Right now, it's 33% off. So instead of the snowflake being 600, right now it's 400.
Oh,
And over time, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
We're thrifty.
That is a lot.
We're thrifty.
Yeah.
And so if we order, how soon, Christina?
I think that's sometime around July, you know, we order then. The closer we get to Christmas, they go up to regular price.
Right now, it's 33% off.
so we should be able to figure out our next year's budget and be able to see if this is accommodating, and then we will definitely take care of the 6,000 now. Thank you for helping us.
Oh, yes. I watch too many holiday movies. I'm thinking we should have what these people have. You know, our town should be lit up. Our children should be excited to be in town at Christmas. Our adults should be excited to be in town at Christmas. So I guess that's my heartstrings, is to make Robbinsville more inviting for our children and our adults and passersby.
All right, Tony, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Debbie was wanting to talk about a documentary video.
We had brought this up in our last meeting, and, Robbinsville, June the 9th is actually the date in 1874 that Robbinsville became the town of Graham County. And we had talked about doing a documentary video of it. I had one quote from a, graphic artist that could do the videoing and everything. And then Kenneth gave me another man's name. He was supposed to bring an invoice for us to look at. That invoice, from what he was telling me when we spoke, was gonna be about $10,000. The other guy's quote was, I think, 14. With that video, I've already got a guy committed to being the narrative for it, and that would be Dale Wiggins. Dale is good at doing that stuff. He's done them on PBS before. And then we've got, you know, other little things going on. Appalachian Smoke, it is a bluegrass band that is willing to let us use some of their music as the background for it. And we just wanted to take some pictures and stuff and kind of roll with that. Now, I don't have Jack's invoice, so I don't really know what we can do, but, you know.
Where are you getting that information at, this 150th anniversary?
Out of the, not the 100th bicentennial book,
Yeah.
and then also from Clara V. Roach. She's a very strong historian for Graham County, and
Well, according to the primary source from the North Carolina General Assembly, we were incorporated in 1897. So that would make it our 127th anniversary.
1897.
Yeah.
I wished I would have brought what Clara V. had gave
I
me.
mean, this is a primary source. This is from the North Carolina General Assembly. That's when they voted to incorporate Robbinsville.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going by what all of the historians and Graham County Historical and all that was going by. I wished I would have brought Clara V's stuff. I'm sorry.
There's a difference between establishing the town and incorporating the town. Because you take like, Stacola is a town, but it's not an incorporated town. It don't have a
I
business.
mean, it's just a community. It's not an incorporated town.
On that date was when Clara V. had said that we were changed from Fort Montgomery, because they took that Fort Montgomery name from it and they voted on doing Robbinsville as the town. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's our primary source from the North Carolina General Assembly.
How many years is that from Graham County being established as a county?
1872 is when Graham County was
Right.
established as a county.
And I said, how many years is that from it though?
25.
I can't imagine a county going that long without having their own town established, but maybe so.
Alright. Any more discussion on the video?
Now, not this time.
Karen wants to say something.
Well, the All Mother Church was established in 1872.
Yeah.
And it served as the courthouse, schoolhouse, and jailhouse. So, does that make any difference?
No.
No.
Next up, Kenneth wanted to discuss the donation to the Shriners.
Yeah, it's we budget $1,000 every year to donate to the Shriners Hospital, and it's time for the donations to start, so.
So that goes to the hospital.
Shriner Hospital.
Yeah.
So we've not paid it yet for this year?
And I don't think we've paid it yet.
Mildred Hooper came by and said it was time to collect, so I haven't looked at the budget.
Well, if we already had it in our budget, then we should be able to.
That was my, what I remember, we'd already budgeted $1,000. Am I correct or not?
You are.
No.
Yeah.
So I make a motion, we go ahead and pay the Shriner donation.
I second that.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next up, Joel's wanting to address the board, but he needs to do it in closed session.
So we need to go in close.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
I'm gonna make a motion that pursuant to the provision of North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A5, I move that the town of Robbinsville Town Council go into closed session to establish or instruct the public body staff, negotiating agents concerning the position taken on behalf of the public body negotiating the price rather than the terms of the contract for the acquisition of property purchase, exchange, and lease.